Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, to my bed crimers. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out the channel. Do me a favor, if after watching the video you find you enjoyed it or you learned something, smash that like button and please consider subscribing. And if you want to support the work I do, please consider a membership. I keep the price really low, $1.99 a month. Hey, that's much less than even one drink from Starbucks. Now, without further ado, let's dig in. The Harmony Montgomery story is among the saddest in true crime. You have a little girl, just 5 years old, who, despite being born blind in one eye to substance-abusing parents, one of whom was in prison when she came into the world, was a naturally loving, sweet, playful, happy child with a smile that lit up every room. Harmony's spirit was said to be so magical that her foster mother stated that she left sparkles behind everywhere she went. Harmony loved dolls, Minnie Mouse, and like many little girls, wanted to be a fairy princess, replete with a sparkly blue dress. Tragically, Harmony fell victim to her parents' troubles and a broken child welfare system. Ultimately, the little girl with the golden hair and the big blue eyes landed in the care of a troubled stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, a young woman also with substance abuse problems, 2 baby boys of her own, and her own DV problems with her husband, and Harmony's biological father, Adam, a controlling man with an explosive, violent temper and a long criminal rap sheet. Harmony's world when with her foster parents, the Rafteries, was a loving, stable place where she was nurtured in every possible way. Think bedtime stories, walks to the park, and ample cuddles. There she was dressed in adorable, clean clothing, sent to school with a big pink bow in her hair, and loved from dawn to dusk. Harmony was seen by health and education specialists to ensure she reached her full potential. She came to love books, playing with dolls, playing with her peers, and became a very social child. Her biological mother, Crystal, knew that Harmony was in good hands with the foster family. Harmony's world, when placed in her father, Adam's care, a father she'd only seen sporadically prior to this, was gritty, unstable, cluttered, dirty, unsafe, and scary. The way of life consisted of moving from apartment to apartment because the rent money, if there was any, went for drugs instead of shelter. There were nights spent in homeless shelters, nights spent sleeping in the family car, and repeated visits to a methadone clinic to keep Kayla and Adam from going into withdrawal. Harmony suffered painful black eyes and bruises thanks to her father's fist, which meant she would be hidden under a comforter whenever other people were around. And despite some of the adults in her life trying to get her help, including her paternal great uncle, Kevin Montgomery, who anonymously reported his nephew Adam's abuse of Harmony to the Division of Children, Youth, and Families, or otherwise known as DCYF, the adults in her life and the system ultimately failed Harmony. Officials sent out for home visits were too quick to buy into the rosy facade that Adam and Kayla Montgomery were able to conjure when they came a-knockin'. And at the end of her all too brief life, Harmony found herself living with Kayla and Adam and her 2 baby brothers, Seamus and Declan, in a car in the dead of a December winter in 2019 in Manchester, New Hampshire. Harmony was then spending her mornings and nights in the back seat of that vehicle behind her stepmother Kayla, who sat in the front passenger seat. Father Adam was in the driver's seat, which meant he could easily reach back with his right hand and fist and crack Harmony on the side of her head whenever she made him mad. And Harmony was accidentally doing things that made Adam very angry several times a day at this point. You see, Harmony, despite being fully potty trained from a young age, once living in this erratic situation out of a car, began uncontrollably soiling herself. Stepmom Kayla claims she told Harmony to let her know when she had to go to the bathroom so that she could take her out to some restroom, and that the little girl never let her know in advance. I'm wondering if Kayla perhaps doesn't remember clearly because of the drugs. In any event, Harmony was regularly urinating and pooping in the back seat of the car, which led to what I would imagine was a horrible stench. This, according to Kayla, sent Adam into daily rages. And Adam also couldn't control himself because one day that fist of his turned into a deadly weapon. And I'm getting ahead of the story. I'm talking about Harmony Montgomery today because her father, 34-year-old Adam Montgomery, is currently on trial for second-degree murder charges in connection with Harmony's death. Adam is also charged with second-degree assault, witness tampering, abuse of a corpse, and falsifying physical evidence in connection with his daughter's presumed death. And I say presumed because her body has never been found. The authorities now believe that Adam Montgomery accidentally did in 5-year-old Harmony on December 7th of 2019 as she sat helpless in the back seat of a car. Adam's trial is both heartbreaking and bizarre. It's heartbreaking because jurors are having to hear about Harmony's horrific injuries and her brutal death. And it's bizarre because Adam Montgomery began his trial by pleading guilty to 2 of his lesser charges: falsifying physical evidence and abuse of a corpse, Harmony's corpse. You'd think by admitting to those 2 charges, Adam comes across as guilty on all charges to the jurors. Also, Adam has refused transportation to the courthouse, so he's not in the courtroom as his trial is going down. It's hard to imagine the jurors not finding him guilty after his admission to those 2 charges, and because of his refusal to sit at the defense table with his attorneys. To me, this signals what a coward Adam Montgomery is. He's a coward for committing DV against his wife and child, and he's a coward for not facing the judge and jury as his alleged behavior is brought out in court. For me, the only punishment that might drive home for Adam what he did to Harmony is an eye for an eye style punishment. Subject Adam to the same brutality he inflicted on his innocent and defenseless child. Yes, I believe Adam Montgomery is guilty. There's no question of it in my mind. Of course, he's innocent until the jury says otherwise. And despite him pleading guilty to the 2 charges, he's blaming his wife Kayla for Harmony's death. Adam claims he last saw Harmony alive with Kayla and that somehow Kayla led to Harmony's death. Note that Kayla Montgomery eventually left Adam on March 17th of 2021. And I get the feeling she left him not because of what he allegedly did to Harmony, but because of the DV that he was committing against her. And by the way, I'm talking about Harmony today not to sensationalize her story or throw bones to people who like hearing about all the heinous details of a child's gruesome death, but rather to share Harmony's story, to put this out there as a cautionary tale, and to make sure that Harmony is known to the world, not just as a victim, but as a miraculous little child who was a survivor up until she met a foe she could not match in strength, her father Adam. Harmony also deserves, above all, to get justice. So this is for Harmony. Harmony was born on June 7th of 2014 in Massachusetts to Crystal Sorey. Her father, Adam Montgomery, was in prison at the time of her birth. Thus, Crystal had sole custody of Harmony in the beginning. Crystal met Adam through mutual friends, and it sounds like this was not a long-lasting relationship. At birth, Harmony was misdiagnosed. The doctors believed she was blind in both eyes. They believed that she would be severely disabled, and they thought that she would not live past 7 months. Harmony lived with her mother, Crystal, for 2 months until Crystal found herself abusing drugs and unable to care for her child. At that point, Harmony was placed with a foster family, the Rafteries. Despite the dire warnings that Harmony was likely going to die, she surprised her foster parents by thriving. And it was her foster mother who discovered that Harmony was only blind in the right eye. As she was feeding Harmony, she saw that Harmony was tracking her with her left eye. And Harmony figured out from a very young age how to defy expectations and how to overcome her challenges. Her language skills were said to be well developed, and her mother Crystal has said that she often came across to people as older than her age because of how well she could converse. Nestled in the loving home of her foster parents, Harmony was completely on the right track. At some point, Harmony went back to live with her mom, Crystal, but Crystal's drug abuse problems continued to haunt her. Harmony would end up back with her foster parents on 3 separate occasions, one of which lasted for 2.5 years. Adam Montgomery had sporadic contact with his daughter Harmony between August of 2014, so 2 months after she was born, up until January of 2018, when Harmony was 4. It sounds like either the foster parents or child welfare officials took Harmony as a baby to visit Adam in prison twice, once in January of 2015 and once in July of that same year. In September of 2015, Adam was released from prison and he moved to New Hampshire. A year later, Adam contacted DCYF in Massachusetts for the first time. He wanted to resume contact with Harmony, who was by then a little over a year old. In February of 2017, Adam, after visiting with Harmony once a month for 5 months, stopped responding to DCYF's requests for future meetings. In July of 2018, Harmony's mother, Crystal, lost legal custody of her. Harmony went back to live with her foster parents. Then, in August of that same year, 2018, Adam met with Harmony for the first time in 11 months. This was only the 9th time that she'd ever spent with him. By now, Harmony was 4. Then, in December of 2018, DCYF in Massachusetts requested a home study by New Hampshire's DCF at Adam Montgomery's home in Manchester. Unfortunately, the request did not include all the needed information to initiate a home study. At least that is what the New Hampshire officials are saying. So no home study was done. 3 months later, authorities made the surprising, tragic, and unforgivable decision of granting Adam Montgomery legal custody of Harmony. At that point, the foster parents had to hand over Harmony to Adam. So off Harmony went to live with Adam and his wife Kayla and their 2 infant sons, Seamus and Declan. By the way, Adam and Kayla Montgomery got married on Harmony's 3rd birthday, June 7th of 2017. In the beginning, the family was living in Adam's grandmother, Helen's house at 77 Guilford Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Adam and Kayla actually decorated Harmony's bedroom there with Minnie Mouse wall decor, and they got her a new bed and mattress and bedding. So it sounds like they were trying to welcome Harmony into their world at that point. Then around Easter of 2019, Harmony's biological mother, Crystal Sorey, spoke to Harmony on a brief FaceTime call. Sadly, this would be the last time Crystal ever saw Harmony. Adam did not make it easy for Crystal to have contact with Harmony. He wouldn't share his phone number, and he didn't keep Crystal in the loop when he and Kayla moved. At the end of July in 2019, DCF received an anonymous call alleging that Harmony was being mistreated. The caller, we now know, was Adam Montgomery's uncle, Kevin Montgomery. During his testimony at Adam's trial, Kevin said he was shocked when he returned to his mother's house after a trip to Florida and saw Harmony with a black eye that looked like a raccoon's eye. When he asked Harmony what she'd done, Adam answered saying Harmony didn't do anything. Adam said, quote, "I effing bashed her around the house," end quote. Kevin was horrified. He only spent that night in the house and never returned. This is when Kevin anonymously reported Adam to the authorities. A week later, a Child Protective Services worker visited the house on Guilford Street again. This time the worker interviewed Harmony, Adam, and Kayla. The worker observed a red mark in Harmony's eye and faded bruising under her eyelid. Adam lied and said the mark was caused when Harmony was struck by a toy belonging to one of her little brothers. The caseworker also spoke to Crystal Sorey. At this point, Crystal told the worker that she'd lost custody of Harmony to Adam. 2 months later, in September, a Child Protective Services worker completed a final visit to the Guilford Street home. The worker reported that Harmony looked happy and healthy. The worker's assessment concluded that the anonymous report of abuse was unfounded. However, the worker did write that the family was at high risk for future child welfare concerns. This was yet another failure by child welfare services. I feel that if Kevin Montgomery had shared his name when he reported Adam, that maybe the story would have turned out differently. Maybe the officials could have spoken to Kevin in person, maybe even given more weight to his tip. However, I do see Kevin as one of the few heroes in Harmony's life. I'm not trying to blame him for Harmony's fate. He was very teary on the stand during the trial, and I believe he feels guilty for not sharing his name. By the way, Harmony, since living with Adam, had never been enrolled in school. You'd think that the authorities would have reported that and insisted that Harmony be enrolled, but they did not. He was only 5, though, and I don't know if red flags go up when a child at 5 is not in school. Note that Adam and Kayla and others who were living at Helen's Guilford Street home eventually were evicted because no one was paying the mortgage. Helen had gone down to Florida to have heart surgery, and she had moved there permanently. And it was in early December that Adam, Kayla, Harmony, Seamus, and Declan began living out of Adam's car. It was the winter in New Hampshire, and so it was very cold, particularly at night. Normally, the family kept the car running to keep the heat on. However, there was one day when the battery died late at night, and Adam and Kayla had to contact everyone they could think of to try and get jumper cables and a jump. Kayla was worried that one or more of the family members would freeze to death. Clearly, these so-called adults were not living their lives in a way that would help guarantee they had a warm bed to sleep in each night, that they had regular meals that were well balanced, and that their children felt safe and were safe. The story that has finally come out now at Adam Montgomery's trial from the mouth of his wife Kayla, who it should be said has lied in the past to protect Adam and herself, is that Harmony passed away on December 7th of 2019 in that car, not from the freezing cold temperatures, but rather at her father's hand. Her death would go undiscovered for 2 years because Adam and Kayla did a good job covering their tracks. They came up with a lie about Adam taking Harmony back to Massachusetts to live with her biological mother, Crystal Sorey. During those 2 years, Crystal was desperate to see and speak to Harmony. However, Adam made sure that Crystal did not have his number, and Kayla helped block Crystal from their Facebook pages. Crystal has said that she made multiple attempts to report concerns about Harmony to child services, all to no avail. And it wasn't until November 18th of 2021 that Crystal contacted the Manchester police to say that she believed her daughter Harmony was missing. Adam Montgomery would not be arrested until October of 2022. 2 months after authorities said the case had become a homicide investigation. So Adam Montgomery managed to avoid getting arrested for Harmony's death for 3 years. How he did that is as horrific as what was done to Harmony when she was still a living, breathing child. Adam and Kayla were evicted on November 27th of 2019. And they lived in their Chrysler Sebring. They parked the Sebring at the Colonial Village in Manchester, where a friend named Anthony Bodero lived. This is when Harmony got into trouble. Kayla said the more accidents Harmony had, the more Adam would get angry, and he would hit her repeatedly. And this is when Harmony began getting black eyes and bruises on her face and her legs. On December 7th, 2019, Adam and Kayla go to the methadone clinic that morning. And when the couple returns to their Chrysler Sebring, they find that Harmony has had an accident. Adam smells urine, and this sets off his rage, which is always simmering just below the surface. Kayla is hungry after her methadone treatment and asks Adam to drive to Burger King. which he does. As Adam's driving, Harmony is sitting in the rear passenger seat. Each time the car stops for a red light, Adam turns to the rear seat and punches Harmony in the head. According to Kayla, Adam stopped at red lights at least 2 to 3 times. So each time that happened, Harmony was sustaining blow after blow. The car is filled with the sounds now of Harmony crying and moaning. Kayla and Adam's sons, Seamus and Declan, are both under 3, and they have no idea what's going on. Adam steps out of the car at some point, as does Kayla, and he tells her that he thinks this time he really hurt Harmony. Adam then drives the car through the drive-thru. Harmony stays under the comforter, and when they get their food, Kayla puts a breakfast burrito next to Harmony on the comforter. The family then drives to the Colonial Village once again, and at some point Harmony stops moaning. Once at Colonial Village, Adam and Kayla leave to buy heroin and crack cocaine. The parents leave the injured and likely deceased Harmony in the car below the comforter. They go and they get high. And yes, there's a special place in hell for parents like this. Once they have their drugs, Adam and Kayla get back into the Sebring and drive off. But at the light, the car's battery dies. Have no choice but to abandon the vehicle. This is when they realize that Harmony's not waking up. They call her name, they call her baby girl, they shake her, but Harmony doesn't respond, and they realize she's deceased. Adam, likely panicking, goes to the trunk, grabs a duffel bag, and proceeds to put Harmony's body in it. No one calls 911. No one tries to resuscitate Harmony. No one does a thing. Kayla will later say that she didn't call for help because she feared her sons would be taken away. Kayla said Adam folded his daughter in half in order to fit her in the duffel bag. Harmony's face at that point was black and blue, and her eyes were puffy. Adam and Kayla grabbed their boys, that bag, and a few belongings, and they walk back to Colonial Village. Once at the apartment complex, Adam puts the duffel bag in a snowbank so no one will see it. It makes me wonder what Adam would have done in that moment if it was spring or summer. The couple's friend, Anthony Bodero, allows Adam and Kayla and the children to sleep in his Audi for the weekend. He doesn't know Harmony's in a duffel bag that's now in his trunk. When the Audi's battery dies late that night, Adam and Kayla call and message friends for jumper cables and a jump. It works finally, and they manage to get through the night. After this, Adam and Kayla move into Kayla's mother's apartment in Manchester, and they stay there until December 30th. They now store the duffel bag in a cooler in the hallway of the apartment complex. After that, what ensues are months of Adam hiding the duffel bag, with Harmony still inside it in myriad places, including a family shelter and the walk-in freezer of a pizza restaurant that Adam is working at. I'm going to skip the horrors of what Adam did to Harmony's body to try and break it down after it had been folded and then frozen and thawed and frozen again. It is the stuff of nightmares. Fast forward to March 3rd of 2020, so about 4 months after Harmony's death. This is when the very calculating Adam Montgomery asked a friend to rent him a van from U-Haul. The friend obliges, and he tells the court during Adam's trial that he saw boxes in the apartment Adam and Kayla were living in, and he thought they were moving away from there. The truth was they had just moved in. Adam didn't want his name on the rental paperwork for the U-Haul. Adam leaves with Harmony's body in the U-Haul. When he returns, the duffel bag is gone. Over the next year, Adam became paranoid and suspected that Kayla was maybe secretly talking to the police about Harmony. To dissuade her from this type of thing, Adam turned to DV. Kayla had 2 black eyes in March of 2021. In addition to chipping away at Kayla, Adam was also destroying everything in the house, according to Kayla. He began to fear that there were cameras in the home. Adam then began threatening Kayla, saying he could get his Uncle Kevin to do her in, which sounds ridiculous since Uncle Kevin is the person who anonymously reported Adam. But of course, Adam didn't know that at the time, and neither did Kayla. Finally, on March 27th of 2021, Kayla got out of the house, took her children with her, which now included a baby girl she'd just given birth to. The couple is now separated, but not divorced. The authorities did not realize that Harmony was missing until 2021, when her biological mother, Crystal Sori, called to report that she had not seen her daughter since Easter of 2019. And it wasn't until 2023 that the police announced that they believed Harmony had died in Manchester, New Hampshire in early December of 2019. And as I said earlier, her body has never been found. Now we wait as Adam Montgomery's trial plays out. Will the jury find him guilty? Personally, I think they will. As for Kayla Montgomery, she's currently serving an 18-month prison sentence after pleading guilty to perjury for lying during grand jury testimony about where she was when Harmony was last seen. During Kayla's testimony in Adam's trial, despite him trying to pin the blame on her for Harmony's death, she told the jury that she still cares about Adam. It's hard to see Kayla as blameless in this crime, but then again, if we haven't experienced the type of terror that she experienced with Adam, is it really fair for us to judge her? Let's hope that Adam and Kayla's 3 children are safe now and living with stable adults. I'm assuming they're in foster care. But you know, when those kids get older, they're going to find out about Harmony. How will they feel about their parents? So many lives impacted by this most egregious crime. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories.
What's your name, my man?
What? Adam.
Adam.
This police body cam video obtained by News 9 Investigates was taken on December 31st, 2021, the day Manchester police announced a missing persons investigation for Harmony Montgomery.
On top of your head.
What's going on now?
This was the first interaction between Adam Montgomery and Manchester police after officers located him sleeping in a car in Manchester's Wolf Park. In the video, officers ask Montgomery about his daughter's whereabouts.
You just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. You're not in any trouble right now that I know of. Okay. You have no warrants. Okay. So, where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay?
Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys.
But that's not what I'm just asking where she is.
I have nothing to say.
The interaction lasts about 45 minutes before Montgomery is sent on his way. Police track Montgomery down again later that day, serving him with a court order to produce Harmony.
Some detectives want to speak with you. Just being detained at this point.
5 days later, Montgomery is arrested on charges including second-degree assault for allegedly abusing Harmony. During an interview with detectives, Montgomery is asked several times about his daughter.
This isn't going to go anywhere. Like, this isn't going to stop. So,
No, it's not.
So,
So
either get on the bus now or get run over.
Well, I got nothing else to say.